Welcome, everyone. First order of business is approval of the minutes for the August 5th, 2025 SBC.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Excellent.
Waiting for, I know it was off.
I know, I was absent though.
Oh,
Yeah, I was too.
second. Have a second.
That's right, good out.
Yeah.
Two new people.
Oh.
Okay.
This is what it feels like the second. It's gonna be.
Don't get used to it.
Okay.
Any questions, concerns, need for further discussion?
Well, except I'm looking, I guess I was absent as well, so I shouldn't.
Good thing Tom jumped in.
Yeah.
I think you can still make.
Motion,
Just
yeah.
making sure.
You just can't vote.
Can't vote.
You could still vote.
Cool iron.
Technically,
You're here today.
that's true.
Oh, do we have people online that are Kathy and Kim? Okay, so we'll do a roll call. Mr. Crucial. Okay, and I'm a yes. Ms. Blair, you were probably going to abstain?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Page?
Yes.
Ms. Brown was absent. Are you
Abstain.
abstaining? Okay, Ms. Hill?
Yes.
Yes. And Ms. Boucher was absent. Are you abstaining?
Abstain.
Okay. Mr. Fenny online? Okay. All right. Ms. Labar?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Christensen?
Yes.
Ms. Collins?
Yes.
And Mr. Quimby, you are absent or you abstain?
I am.
Okay. So those minutes are approved.
Yeses have it.
Yeses have it.
Jimmy, do we have anybody from the community on? Us? Okay.
They're supposed to be for two. Did you anticipate it or no?
He was invited. I can't speak.
That's it. Okay.
A response to the email?
We'll just table this for now, maybe give him one more meeting to.
I think the
Feelings
deadline, for the design team, I think is September.
But yeah, when we spoke in June about this issue, Jamie, I know that you brought it up, that, ultimately Fontaine would need the documents probably for 5 months. At that time, you were thinking November-ish was kind of that time. So I don't know if we fully explained what is necessary in order for that to happen. But the design team obviously needs to do a fair bit of work beforehand to issue the changes over to Fontaine. So we did talk about this meeting being that final decision date.
Because the November deadline for Fontaine documents that would be produced by the design team. So they need pretty much late September to November to get those documents if we were to make the change.
I don't want to speak for your team, but that's what we kind of discussed.
Just so everybody's
We
clear.
haven't done any design. We've only done feasibility discussions.
So we knew this was a big ask to begin with.
Yeah.
Right, so Ben, I stand corrected. Sounds like we should cross this one off. Is it something we should take a formal vote on?
I would just leave it. There's nothing really to vote on. Yeah.
So be it. Benjamin, you're up next.
Thank you very much. All right, my monthly ritual of boring you guys first before I kick it over to Fontaine and JWA. Financials, happy to report. Good. So we have a process with Pam and Laura, which has been working great in terms of the reimbursements. So you can see what you're taking a look at. The snapshot here is just our internal budget tracker, which is a summarized, condensed version of all of the project invoices that are received. So Skanska facilitates that. We enter all invoices as they come in. We then recommend or approve them for the town, and Pam and Laura do a great job of helping us out with processing them and then supplying the information that we need to enter the ProPay request for reimbursement. So once we get that information, it's monthly, we submit that into ProPay. And so you can see invoice to date, we're at 58,378,405. And then you notice there's a pretty big discrepancy between that and what's been submitted to ProPay. The reasoning for that is we've had several large Fontaine recs that need to go in, and it's just kind of the timing of it, right? We need to process these recs and pay them and get the warrant information, and then it goes in for reimbursement. So oftentimes those recs are a couple months past when we finally receive reimbursement. So you see the 25,374,542 has been reimbursed to East Long Meadow. If you're doing the math, you're noticing it's not coming up to your 61% yet, but that's because the latest RFR, you notice at the bottom, request for reimbursement, has been submitted to MSBA. It's over $4 million, and we're expecting around $2.5 million in grant back on that. And so those invoices are, all at this point basically eligible for reimbursement. I know earlier when I updated the committee, explained to you guys at some point that's going to change, right? Because at some point we're going to start hitting caps within the budget, and it's all spelled out in the PFA bid amendment, Tom, that you'll be receiving soon. I'm stealing my own thunder. But basically there are caps within each of the categories within the construction budget, and we can go back and revisit what those are. But at some point here, we projected kind of in the spring, that's going to start dipping down a little bit. So your reimbursement rate is 61.95%. We always talked about that eligible reimbursement rate once that starts to set into place. So keep you updated on that. But yeah, all things are good. We've had 2 change orders to date, totaling $475,423. We do have another change order that is kind of in the works right now for the fire pump and several other things that we hope to get approved at the next SBC meeting. We're still kind of formalizing some of the documents on that end, but that will ultimately, I think it was around 100. So all in all, we're still under 1%, way under 1% on changes. So good there. Fontaine, I know your contingency has remained unharmed to this time. So that's kudos to you guys. So yeah, all the good things to report on this. Any questions with the budget or the process? Again, kudos to Pam and Laura. They keep us on the ball every single month. We're putting in for reimbursement. So
We'll help Fontaine spend some of that, don't you worry.
I shouldn't have.
Just so to summarize that fire pump, we had already talked about, that was the whole pressure out.
Yes, that is correct. Yep.
Roger that. Thank you.
And yep, so the PFA bid amendment. So if you all recall, we're operating right now under a project funding agreement that was set back at schematic design. So the PFA bid amendment, once we brought Fontaine on board and they completed their buyout, well, most of it, we then need to submit their schedule of values and their GMP amendment with their full GMP to MSBA, which basically, is actualizing the full budget post bid. So we're still waiting on that document. We sent it back in February, but I do have it on good authority that it's kind of with the last people who need to sign off on it. So we're expecting that soon. Tom, that'll go to you. Nothing that you really need to do other than sign, and we'll enter into ProPay, the new budget. So we'll help you take care of that. Site visits, we had one yesterday. Gordon was on for that. It was a positive meeting. It's rather uneventful. They weren't able to come out on site. It's good when they get out because we're able to take them through the building and show them the progress and all of that. But just summarize the construction activities for them and went through the deliverables and set up our next meeting on November 12th. So about it in the MSBA land. I should mention that the commissioning agent who is contracted by MSBA for the project, we've been coordinating, they've been on site regularly, the building enclosure side of things. They've had 2-3 site visits at this point. And we're just engaging the MEP inspections now. They've been reviewing submittals all throughout the project, giving the design team and our team feedback. But now it's kind of that time when it actualizes, they get out on site and they're doing their testing and inspections in the field. So FST is the commissioning agent, and nothing but good things to report so far. Fontaine, I don't know.
The reports are on Procore?
All on Procore. Yep. As are the design team's inspections. The site is regularly, inspected by not only JWA and SMMA, all their consultants come through, all the major disciplines, MEPs, structural, all those things are saved on Procore as well. Any questions regarding financials or MSBA? Anybody want to come to November 12th? Is it?
They'll be on site, so you're giving a tour, right?
Maybe, I don't know. They're supposed to be on yesterday too, and they canceled last second, so we'll see.
Thanks for volunteering, Jamie. Good.
Good, yep.
All right, Mark, I think it's you.
So real quick, there's a lot going on, like we all know here. So we kind of opened the parking lot. Hopefully it's working out for you guys. You know, the parking lot's going here. So out front still, tomorrow we're paving the top course on the tennis courts. Just so you know tomorrow. Okay, so that's happening tomorrow. We'll kind of do that. Then we got a cure time, and hopefully for mid-October, we're actually gonna be putting down the tennis surfacing on that. We're working our way there. Once that happens, we'll kind of clean up around that area to the existing ticket booth for kind of paving, putting a sidewalk in there. And then on site, we're actually paving the east road by mid-October. It kind of brings us towards the parking lot. Inside, inside and outside the building, we got guys and people, and girls everywhere working. The mason is now finished the loading dock north side of building D, and he's working himself around the building clockwise. He's laying brick on the south side of D right now and laying granite on E building. And that's working really, really well as he's going through. I think he's getting a good system now. He's actually moving a little bit better, washing down the building. Inside, we're building D1, E1, and D2 are all inspected, in-wall inspected. We started doing drywall on D1. We're moving to E1 shortly, and then door frames are showing up today. And then on Monday also, so we'll be able to actually do 3 sections of the academic wing. Looking for inspection in E2 by the end of the month, maybe first week in October. Then that whole academic wing will be inspected, done, and ready to drywall right through. We're kind of working our way through that. Elevators shipping showing up mid-October, so we'll start working on our elevator. And then we're also working as we work our way around. We're kind of poured the kitchen today, so the kitchen's all installed and done. Slabs poured there. We're kind of working our way through the locker rooms. That area is actually done and fire sprayed in building B. We're going to start the block work in the locker rooms and within the main electric room within about 2 weeks or so, and kind of clean that area all up. And in the gym right now, we're trying to work there before it actually ends up as a storage area. Sprinkler is complete there. Our ductwork is about, 1/8 done, I should say. All the ductwork's on site, but now we're putting all the big main spirals in, and the plumbing's done in that area also. So as we kind of work our way through, which is kind of the rotation through the building, we're in building A, which, in your area, well, not gonna be your area, Gordon, because you're not going there, but in that whole area of building A and around the side is that we're framing that, the fireproofing is done there. We're sheetrocking electric room, so the electrician can get a good jump on that area there and kind of clean us up in those areas to kind of get a jump on pulling power. Generator showing up next month. Gear is showing up in the middle of February if everything's on track. Units are showing up beginning of December. Windows will start early, but a second and third week in October. So you'll see windows will start going off, so and those are showing up too. So it's kind of a little bit of everything everywhere.
Does it make sense, Mark, with everybody here to talk a little bit about what it looks like? Because we've been talking in smaller groups around the schedule for this spring.
Yep.
And how possible we get this fix, take it offline,
Yep.
allows you to
Right.
start abating, taking it down, working,
With-
connecting the sewage,
Right.
and
Detention basin, there's a lot that has to happen.
fan of sewage, so.
Yeah, we have to try to look at what powers this building too, and what else is powers in the building. So we have to get through that if this is an option, of taking, like we've talked about, maybe putting you guys or displacing you guys for a little bit to start that. That'd be a great thing. The way it's gonna look as the end of school year, like we've kind of just talked about, is once the school's over and you're out and we got disconnected power, we have people in here doing abatement and demo, and it's gonna start fast and furious. The way that, like your office in particular, Gordon, is the building's not going to be ready for you because we're still receiving furniture. We're still working on final cleaning. We're working on flush outs. We're working on a lot of things that are happening in the building, testing fire alarms. I mean, all that stuff's happening next summer as we go. Ryan, we're going to need you over there because you're going to have to start programming your cards unless they all work the same. Look at cameras and making sure that they're aimed correctly. I mean, there's so many things that are going to go. There's really not going to be room for you guys to kind of go in there and sit down and do something because there'll be too much things going on.
You say that, what time frame are you talking about?
I'm talking through June and probably into August as we get to that area there, right? So all the way through June, July, right? And then we're,
August.
Huh?
I mean, end of July.
well, I mean, no, we're working through, yeah, so into August, into August. Yeah, no, but I mean,
End of August, I was like, whoa.
but no, as we get there though, Frank, we're gonna be still going in substantial completion and everything. Substantial completion is a word, right? It's just, the building is ready, but we're still making sure elevators inspected, everything's all turned over. We walk through the building department, the fire department is good. the signage is good, all that stuff to make life safety correct, we have to make sure that's right. And to bring,
Don't get the occupancy permit at that point.
we do not get the occupancy permit, probably not until, we'll get the occupancy permit at the end. We can be in a good position, Pam, where we can bring in, like Frank's staff, because they have to learn and train, right? They have to learn the systems. And so like we would bring in like his team, and they might not have a place to just, to call their home yet, but we'll get them in there and they'll just, again, we can't come in and bring in, a lot of times teachers want to come in early, they want to bring their kids because they don't have daycare or they want, and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden we're still working around the site, because remember, this building, the access to the building is going to be insane, right? Because we're tearing the building down, but we're actually building the front entrance. So getting people in there safely and making sure they're geared correctly and dressed correctly is a hard thing for us as we go through. We'll have the road, kind of one of the reasons why we're working on the East Road now, we'll have that road because that's where your FF&E will be pulling in and all your furniture, and that'll be your access for, Frank's staff, because the main building is torn apart. Right, by the time we build the detention basin, we build that bridge and we start doing all the lighting and the EV, all that stuff that goes from the existing building out is a lot that's gonna happen, and we can't do that till the building's gone. So you put that in together and there's no rest for us next summer, right? So
That's the, don't want to add in the flush out period.
flush out too, I mean,
That is when there's a high scrutiny here is that mechanical systems have to, a lot of materials in here, a lot of furniture that's off gassing. You want to flush the building out and get lots of circulation of air through that building before it becomes fully occupied, because all the staff that are working there are kind of OSHA trained, but
right, so,
again, are not really prepared for that.
right, as to Dory's point, we're testing all the equipment, we're testing the units, we're making sure everything's working, and then they're running 24/7, bringing in fresh air from the outside, just to make sure we do flush out all those gases, from all the furniture at that point, for the most part, flooring, all that kind of stuff. A lot going on, Gordon, right? To kind of bring, and I know as we get closer, we'll have more conversations and see where we're at. But just knowing the access to the building, how do we get you inside and what is it gonna look like inside? And there's gonna be nobody gonna be able to, furniture's still going there. We still haven't done final clean yet because we want to push people out of the way as far as crews are concerned, get them out and moving to kind of clean up that whole area while we're working in the front of the building.
So when you say, sorry, crucial to get in, like some of your staff, you're referring to
I'm
custodian.
custodial and I'm concerned to Frank's staff too. Food services, all depends on, we try to get them in there early. We have to walk through testing of the hood. We have to make sure the Ansel system's good. We have to make sure health department comes through. We have to clean all that up. Then we have to make sure the freezer coolers are on and we have to do them for a certain time to make sure we test those to contain the food. Then yes, we'll bring them into that section there and that's where they need to stay, right, to work on that. But it depends on how much time they need. Do they need 2 weeks or do they need 3 weeks? Then we got to work that all together as a team because that's the only way it works. Frank's team needs to come in, let's say in the beginning of August, we'll just pick that date for now, right? So his team needs to come in, they need to learn the building, they need to learn the systems, they need to learn, that we'll be setting up training, we'll have a training matrix. Whoever they want trained, we'll bring that through there. Custodial staff should be there. And even if somebody like Mike wanted to be here the whole summer, we can make that work and he can come in dressed as construction. I'll give him a hard hat and he'll learn the building, talk with the trades, talk with the plumber, know where the valves are, right? All that kind of stuff is huge for your staff at the end of the day. And I think instead you're going to relocate most of your staff, custodial staff, or somebody like your head custodian should be with us for that summer, just so he understands what's going on and where things are.
At what point can I bring all of them back? Because I'd like them to learn systems too,
Well, they'll definitely be open for the training. We'll make sure any training that they have, we'll send you that matrix, Frank, and you'll say, I want these guys there. And then as that gets, but remember, when they walk in,
John Barrows, yeah.
Yeah, anybody like that. But as you walk in, you won't have the summer clean you have here, right? And stuff like that. We'll be taking care of that to kind of give you that.
I should expect a clean building.
You shouldn't expect it. Right. But to learn the systems, absolutely. We can have those conversations as we get closer. How that works, but it's a lot of moving parts.
What about the other offices? So central office would need to come in at some point.
So I think we talk with central office in the big picture, right? And depends what happens with you guys and if we kind of relocate you. I think that in my mind, is it crucial to you to be here day one? And that's up to your guys' decision. Or is it crucial to you to move in when you're
Not
comfortable?
really crucial for.
I know for you.
Am and will be.
Am I gonna look at you? I mean, it depends what we do and how we find a suitable place for you, Gordon, right? And where you guys are gonna be this fall. I mean, spring, excuse me, I'm trying to fall. Where you're gonna be, right? And how that's gonna work, Pam, and where you're gonna be. And if you're set up comfortably, do you need to make that mad rush where everything else is going on here? Or do you wait till we're set and open and then you move in September and you bring in your own pace? That's something we can have a discussion about.
Right, okay.
The question is, do you need to be in here with his staff and everybody else? and try to get set up and then people are
I don't
coming in
think so.
when you're already set up someplace else. And then your transition is a little bit better and more calm.
So I think-
The priority is to obviously prioritize my staff and getting the kids into the building.
Absolutely right.
And then
Yes.
if we have to take that a little bit slower,
Yeah.
because we're focusing over here.
That's how I see it. Now,
Yeah.
you guys can tell me something different.
If we had to.
That makes sense.
Ryan staff is an interest.
Ryan staff,
Are they
Jamie will talk about also, you're not forgetting you back there.
across, right? They're technically involved in the school as well. Is it?
We're gonna, well, if it's not Ryan alone and he has a team, then that team's gonna have to come and help work with the electrician to kind of make sure your systems are up and running. We gotta look at security, we gotta look at the card swipes, we gotta look at all that stuff that goes with this. You know, it's gonna be, he's gonna be a big part of that, you know? So it'd be like with Ryan's team, it would be, you know, Frank's team, and then we can work, Pam, with how your team kind of.
That makes
back into that.
sense. Yep.
Would it benefit to bring trailers on for their offices to go in, like your offices and these offices?
We talked about that, but trailers at Bertram Park or trailers here, right? So you still gotta look at where do we put them that aren't gonna be moved again 10 times, because now we put them someplace. Now a trailer is a box, right? And it's electrical, they gotta pull someplace.
Right.
It is not a running bathroom, or it's, you know, what do you want to live in? We'll call it for that period.
And to your point, Mark, if it's open to the public and you put it out in the parking lot, you guys are gonna have so much going on out there in that area, you know, so.
How do I get somebody to come visit you, right? You know, so is it someplace else in town that we set a trail? We could look at that also, Pam, but we have to look at that to make it, you know, again, we want to make you comfortable so you can function and then you move back when it's.
What's that?
It could be an option.
Sure, yes. What's that timeline look like? So when I hear you saying that it's gonna help you out immensely if central office is out of here at some point.
Mhm.
What is that point?
We were thinking April.
We were thinking April, we were thinking,
Thinking April break, but I do think that, to your point, Mark, you guys need to come in, and I know Brian was talking about it today, to see if this is feasible first, because Gordon, you brought up a good point that the boiler down here feeds some of the classrooms, so first they need to come in and see, you know, what a shutdown to this annex would mean for
that's
the
the building.
for the school, so.
Where's the power feed from, right? And is it
It's not
after,
even cold anymore.
well, yeah, is it after after the winter session, we don't need heat, but is there air circulating, right? Do you have just air circulating with no, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
What is it?
right.
So we need to look at that a little closer before I say, you know, go and let's, you know, but there's a lot to do, as you guys all know. There's no one's hiding any of that, but we just try to sequence it the best we can to make your transition a little
Is
bit.
that scheduled, Mark?
We need to set that up, so who should be from the town at that meeting, to walk?
Looking at the boiler?
Yeah.
Trying to get Brian in the beginning of the week, and then we talk about that beginning of next week to try to get somebody in there. So we can coordinate that with.
I don't want to send you an email with Brian's information, and then we can, rather than try to figure it out now.
John Barros, and I would have Michael and John.
Yep,
They're gonna ask it.
I think so. Just take a look and see what feeds, whatever, but that's, you know.
Are we saying we need to just wait and see if we can do this, or we're saying we're gonna do it, it's just what it's gonna take?
Both, right? If it's something that's undertaking that we have, well, it is because there's the gas lines underneath. I don't know what's feeding it. I've looked at some of the older drawings. I really can't tell enough. Need to look at them a little bit better. You know, what does it feed? Does it feed the power? Can we get power from someplace else? How much power do you need? I mean, that's the feasibility we have to look at, right?
They're gonna try to get creative, Steve, but if we can't shut down the class, or if we can't do it because it affects the classrooms, then you can't do it. And don't ask Gordon to leave or anybody to leave, and
How much does it?
beyond that.
Even then,
We,
end of school, Gordon, the district offices can't operate your.
that's right.
You need a place anyway.
Need, and then it's a hectic time for you, Pam, because you got all your files and where you're going with them, how you set up and where you live in the summer. You know, maybe it's Tom's garage. I don't know.
I think in a perfect world, either way, we're kind of vacating this building, whether we can completely shut it down or not. Because even if we just get people out of here and let's say a system needs to still run, we can start fading around that system.
That's
As long as,
Just meaning the annex.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
as long as we kind of get everybody out of here, like that obviously all needs to be.
Challenge, that we're finding is
I know.
summer, Birchland probably could house most offices, central office, student support services, high school office. However, if we're moving folks in April vacation, Birchland is operating as a school coming out of April vacation, so maybe they can handle student support services and one other small group. And so it's finding, without making it multiple moves,
Right.
finding a home for everybody.
How many, when you say everybody, how many people do we need to find a home for?
12,
Yeah, 12 to 15.
12, 15.
But you're setting up offices that are public facing.
Yeah.
You know, like student support services has to be accessed by the public. Central office has to be placed somewhere where, you know, even if we're in a bullpen setting, we're able to be accessed by the public and we have Wi-Fi and, have a phone system, which I know Mr. Quimby will take care of us, but,
How you feel about 330 Chestnut?
just kidding.
I was wondering, what about the, what about
Package machinery.
Oh, there you go.
Just kidding.
property? I mean, I know that there's not sewer stuff there, but maybe you gotta do like the toilets inside porta potty, that kind of no, but you know how they have the real.
I know, but I think we could put it on a school before we put them out on the farm.
No, I mean, I think,
Thank you. So that's getting in.
Got me on the farm.
Oh, yeah, behind the barn, don't you worry.
it is town
Get out.
property and yeah, right. No.
Well, so basically we have to plan for April for the annex. We'll plan to get out of here
Yes.
by April and whether we can take the whole thing or not, you're gonna start.
Way, I think the transition for them next fall is better if they're someplace else
Yeah.
than to try to work out of.
Thinking trailers or leasing space, then we'd have to look at budget
Mhm.
and
Do we have any idea the cost of those? It's
Depending what you need, you have to give me your parameters, if it's 15 people, what we're looking for, and we
not
can
gonna be 50.
have this conversation.
we can,
6 or 7.
I was gonna say, we'll probably pick off a couple and be strategic about things.
Yeah.
I think we can get student support services hopefully into Birchland
I'm sure we could maybe work,
and set them up there.
there's probably people we could pick off.
Space in Burson, we can move student services and payroll comfortably. It's
Yeah.
central office here.
Is work from home an option for anyone?
Don't necessarily need.
Need this,
Can anybody work from home?
I think there are some, but there's
No, you can't.
We need a,
not on an everyday
It
basis.
doesn't feel like it
we need
anymore.
public facing. Yeah. well, it's- You can do whatever.
But I think there's at least 2 or 3 off the top of my head. I feel like we could find space for here.
In the building?
I think in April, the old superintendent wing would be easy for us to move out of too, because at that point, we're wrapping up all of our meetings and Kevin's been displaced before. So
And that's fine, but then we still have to move somewhere. No, I agree. April, we could move there, but then June 12th, we're moving
Gotta move
again.
again.
So we still have to find something.
And that's what I'm trying to say, your one transition, and one transition actor makes more sense if you're trying to deal with the public.
Possible.
Basic.
Do trailers
usually cost less than leasing commercial space?
It depends what it is. We can get the trailers by the month, but then you also have to look at hookup and you have to look at servicing for the bathrooms, if there is bathrooms. There's a lot of things that go with that, right? And where you're gonna get the power. Because depending where you set up, you gotta pull the power from someplace. And so that setup, if you find a place that'll give you something a month for a few, then we can look at that. I think we gotta look at how many people. We'll look at that and then put our heads together and let's look for some spaces.
And if there are spaces probably in industrial park, perhaps.
Yep.
If we were,
Toilet
or be able to.
designated for us.
So it depends where the electrical room is, to how do I get power through a building that's existing? I can't tap into a transformer outside, and come in from an electrical, which is a gear, right? So you have to come out of the gear and where do I put it?
Yep.
Through a building, through a wall, through a hole,
Right.
so we gotta look at all that. Or is there overhead wires we can tap off of that and come down from there? That's another area, depending where we locate them, right? But it also needs to be something like almost on the parking lot where somebody can come and visit them.
Exactly.
You have space in the west side of the building that's gonna be here until September? The classroom wings,
Do I have?
available space this side of the building?
No.
Okay, it's that side.
I think it's gonna be like, I have an office here, and
Yeah,
office-
yeah.
little things,
Pockets.
But that's all leaving in June though.
But
Those will all disappear in
Yeah.
June. Yeah, so we
Yeah.
wanna do one move.
yeah, I'm thinking about like, if we're looking to try to cover certain roles to reduce the number of people we have to replace, to just make that displacement more manageable for everyone, so if you guys are looking at 10 spots instead of 15,
Like one of the people Frank mentioned is on pretty much a 10-month contract, so she doesn't need to worry
Yeah,
about summer.
yeah, and she also has more of a counselor role, like the medical coordinator, right? So like I could find a space.
That makes sense.
My building, because she works with our kids and bounce around to the other schools anyway,
Makes sense, yep.
So stuff like that, I think if we maybe peel one off here,
Get
peel
down
one
to
off there,
10 or 12.
we could reduce that number,
Makes money on it.
and it'll make it.
Yeah, I mean, we've
Five
identified
people, maybe you could go
at the makerspace,
know?
the makerspace room at Birchland.
Yeah.
We've identified that for student services potentially. And so there's 5 right there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
but it's central office that we stay.
It's
How many people is just the central office staff? 5?
5 on a regular basis, yeah.
Because we,
Tammy
and Tammy and Laura, so 7.
Right, but we identified somewhere at Birchland for them, right, as well?
Yeah, I mean, they haven't seen it yet.
conditioning in that.
Identified a lot of things. People go see it, that it changes.
Have to figure out something.
All right, we'll work on the April then. Now we know we gotta do it.
I mean, I work with them so closely. I'd rather be with them, to tell you the truth, if I could have them.
What if you utilize the whole library? And
Well,
just
in
move
the summer,
from the library.
be able to do that during the school year.
We'd have to move again.
But if you kind of thought of moving some of the library services into, say,
They.
That library gets,
Library, it's pretty
they get
active.
used a lot.
max, amazing.
All right.
And what do you need to bring with you, Pam? That's the thing too. What do you need for space with you? What are you bringing with you? Are you bringing files? What are you bringing? You know, that's also gotta be in, you know.
Right, yeah, my spreadsheets.
Not even the space.
It's Munis.
Also, I'm getting, we're not looking at just people.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
what you bring.
Yeah,
You
we're
might have 5 people, but you might have, you know,
billing.
rooms of stuff.
To talk to the staff about exactly that. What does their footprint look like, right? So that we can get a better handle on our needs. So I'll continue to do that and get that to you.
Their money budgeted for, I know moving, but not necessarily temporary housing.
That wasn't necessarily, there's an other category for $100,000, but it wasn't necessarily thought of that we were going to be doing this, so.
Okay.
This would be other though.
This would be other. This
Definitely would be other.
classify as other, so.
Classified as other.
So what are next steps?
I will say, just to chime in, just because about moving to annex, we're also talking about moving a few other classrooms down here as well. Met with all those teachers this week. We're already starting to map out where we can potentially move, so they know what's coming. They know they're all pretty good right now. We're expecting to kind of roll with it.
Bringing vocal music with us. I've been next to him for 16 years. Next to me before I leave.
Yeah, so we already kind of have some ideas of where stuff could potentially move, so you know, those 3 spaces, the 3 academic spaces down here are already accounted for. So great.
So I think the next move is see how many people, see what you need for a footprint, and then we start looking what we need and where we can do it.
Say Ryan, where's IT?
So I mean, we also have to
IT.
where they're gonna go.
Well, he's good until June though. You're good.
We're done with summer,
right?
I'm good until June.
12th, I mean, he's gotta move.
So you're talking about weeks, right?
And assuming we'll probably get 300 Chromebooks in that we have to.
Yes. I was thinking about.
I'd be like moving.
Yeah, I mean,
Summer. I
right.
think it's
Yeah.
industrial park might have some too. Throw them all up.
I don't know. Package machinery is looking better.
Yeah.
Fire station.
Does Chestnut Street, right?
Yeah. Get a tetanus shot, right?
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
All right, so next steps would be we have to finalize footprints and needs and solidify what we're using in Birchland during the school year and what our other potential move-in sites will be.
I'll start making a couple calls on places I know might have some space.
Great.
All right, thank you.
Church on Parker Street that used to be a school, it's now not a school. All the way at the end. They have to have offices there. Can they rent that? Is it rented?
I don't know. That could be a call.
They have a school there.
Congregational church has that whole upstairs annex.
They,
First church.
that's on my list.
Just give me the loop because we will have to get connected at some point.
Yep.
The church on Westwood, when the library was getting redone, they housed the library.
Really?
If people are, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Put a trailer up there and off they went. But they've got, I don't know, anyway.
Solar.
Yeah, they do. I don't know if they got to.
So Tom, sounds like this is yours for the immediate future.
I'll make some calls.
If we do consider the trailer though, how would we go about that? Mark?
You give me parameters and
Okay.
take it from there. But we need to know where it's going and I have to look where we, you know, all that stuff.
Would you have a recommendation as to where it should go in terms of what town property?
Their access is what I'm worried about, right? So it has to be somewhere in like almost a parking lot, right?
Right.
What school or what
Okay.
do you have for a parking lot that's gonna work there?
Next to a transformer with an empty lug.
It's not actually- it's happening in the middle of the night.
Yes,
Yeah,
to the line.
okay. So, yeah, all that goes with it. I mean, yeah. Besides that.
Other than that.
Okay.
Anything else on the CM update?
Did you want to go through some of these? Yeah.
Some of some of where we're at, and you can kind of see, so right in here, it's just kind of where we're at right now. You can keep going, we'll go and you can see a couple, that's the mock-up. So if you haven't seen the building, have a chance to go look at the building, that's the actual.
Move in here.
Gordon's.
New office, I tried moving them in there. They're gonna out Ryan to get some power to
Porta
it.
potties right around it.
Good. No waiting.
So that's kind of the mock-up. We're kind of working on the different colors of brick and and how that, kind of works with all the paneling and everything else.
I don't know if you're getting there, Mark, but is the exterior of the bathroom concession stand brick as well? Because right now it's block.
That's it.
That's it.
That's the finish. That's it. But yeah, that is the finish. Yep. It is black.
Polished block.
Maybe it's just not polished yet.
Pre-polished.
Is it pre-polished? Not going on there.
It looks great.
So this is in August. You can see we've done a lot more AVBs going on. The building in the front part there is building E. The mason is now installing insulation. The building to the right is obviously building D, and the brick is already going up. There's about, like I said, over a third and up on the building in the back. In the background is a gym. That's all AVB with the silver aluminum clad AVB, and then it's actually that whole roof is down in the back too, in the back part there by the gym area. So pretty much the building is all tight as far as the roof. And there's the parking lot there, the loop there you see there, that's not complete because it actually goes just about into the building where the small gym is in the weight room. So that loop next year, once that building comes down, we'll create that a little bit bigger oval there, so it'll be a little bit easier for that. But you can kind of see the parking lot taking shape.
We're utilizing that loop.
And you're utilizing that loop.
It's been great.
It's working,
Dory, someone brought up to me, there are no walkways through the parking lot. Is that to change, or meaning, how some spots are striped for walkways? There's no direction to go.
So the walkways, they're
There's sidewalks in there.
sidewalks, but.
Right, but if you got out of the middle, your car in the middle, and you're either going, I didn't bring it up.
Striping on.
Someone came up to me and said, I was trying to walk through the parking lot, I couldn't navigate it. I didn't.
Stripes.
Well, it used to be wide open. I don't know. I'm just asking. Is this it or?
Right, that is a design right there, and what happens is you walk, any sidewalk you hit will dump you to another sidewalk or get you to the stadium or back to the school.
Eric goes on the call
Oh.
and we're gonna be done, but there are passageways that are not kind of fully baked in here.
Okay. Like I would imagine coming through, there would be a ramp and a sidewalk cutting right out towards the building. Instead of having to transverse around the peninsula.
Though at the end of the day, right, when we're done this, right, that whole area by the loop is all concrete. It's all
None of that exists.
So wherever you go in that whole area, you'll be able to walk right into the main building.
Okay.
So all that is a large plaza. If you look at the rendering or, at the end of the day. So where they have a design that whole top of that parking lot where that loop is, it's all concrete right into the main building.
So foot traffic coming out of there will naturally flow west
Yeah.
Yes,
and south
correct.
instead of straight south.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, and depending where you go and that big loop is done, that is all concrete in the front, and then you have the bridge going over the detention basin. Yeah.
There's a slide further on that looks at the site plan, so we can look at that question about.
Yeah.
There's additional walking that
Okay.
connects, sort of islands of parking.
Right. There's usually a natural path to get, yeah, right.
So this is D north, right by the loading dock there. So this mason area is done. Now we're actually washing it down and moving your stuff around there. But so that mason area there is all complete. The windows, like I mentioned, are coming in the first week of October. So hopefully we'll get them started installed by mid-October.
I like those redstone bricks, the accent ones.
Yeah.
They're perfect, yeah.
It's even sharper when it's washed down.
Wash it, yeah.
Yeah, and the different, feel different pattern difference to it. It's adding a lot to.
Nice.
And the pool is moving forward here. We're actually working on the underground electrical for all the lights that are in the pool, for the timing system. They'll be done tomorrow. We'll kind of clean it up and backfill, and the plumber will start with the trench drain. And once that trench drain is done and set, then we'll be looking at pouring that slab probably by mid-October. And then we'll be ready for the mason in that building. Interior, like I mentioned, building D, we're starting interior sheet rocking. MEPs are going up. That's building, looking down corridor in building D. So we can see the black line. Those are sprinkler lines, the ducts installed. Refrigeration lines are above that. Electrician's all done and it's all tied in there also. So that's all complete. And you can even see that they're actually, wrapping insulation on the ducts, and insulation is going into.
it?
Very cool.
Thank you, Mark. Aside from the annex and that
Oh,
whole
it's not up yet.
topic. What else is giving you pause?
What else is giving me pause? How much time do you have? I mean, it's all moving forward. We're working diligently as a team, looking at what's lead line, what's getting pushed back, what's getting approved. You know, as they approve what we need, making sure it's ordered, making sure we're doing a follow-up, all that stuff, you know, so we just kind of keep moving through, right? It's a lot that we're doing and I think we're funneling great, you know? It's just keeping the pedal on for the next.
We got a lot of workers. We've done hundreds
A lot of
of
work.
quarries.
Yeah, we're at about, what's it, today, 107, 80?
Yeah.
Right in that area, we're trying to push, and of course, I'd like 20 more, 30 more, you know, depending what trade we're at, trying to push them up, trying to push up our carpenters now, trying to push up a lot, you know, because now that all the drywall is opening up, I'm hoping I can start banging out that whole academic wing so we can start the tapers and then the painters, and then it comes to the finished trades. You know, I got millwork, we got in casework showing up sometime in December. We're trying to work that in to make sure these guys are out of the way and into the next section of the building. So there's a lot going on. We just can't have any hiccups. So everybody's been working great as a team. So it's all good.
Is PV gonna be done when the building is done in next June? Does that go
Great
on?
Question. I don't know. I would say I would not give it the highest odds, to be honest. Simply because the process of getting the utility to sign off on everything is a slow process. Right now, that's actually all in their hands and their design review. So that gives me pause. And PV in general as a supply chain issue is one of the harder things to get delivered.
And we've had many projects that were everything ready and sitting there in National Grid, and it's a year later for it to make you, you know, too nervous. That's what happens. I mean, we're sitting there ready and then all of a sudden say, oh, we want something else. And to her point, you know, we got to go back to National Grid and provide what they need. You
Yeah, it'll
know,
probably be on the roof, but
Yeah.
it won't be,
Live.
the two-way meter won't be going yet. That's where.
In terms of what the town can do, Greg, Tom's been doing everything on his end. We've been keeping the application going. It's really just, I believe, the meeting with the utility service at this point to see about the construction phase.
And we're covering those up from the front of the building, right?
Don't even.
You make a design choice on that. It should be a design choice. How's about we leave it at that, Gregory?
I'm okay with that.
Okay. I think about it often.
You think about it often?
Do I read that comment as possibly a little chit chat with National Grid might help?
I was just saying, no, I don't think so. I think we're actually in fine.
They don't?
I think you guys, we don't have any indication that this is taking any longer than it should. I think you just say that, Mark, because it has. We can certainly look into it with them. I think Stella maybe could.
Yeah, I mean, they're regularly, Stella and John are constantly in, you know, and if it's like you feel like it's a game because they'll suddenly put it on pause and they'll notice and be like, why is it on pause? And back into the review again. So
Yeah.
it's this constant.
We get one of those emails twice a week.
Yeah, yeah.
Your application is on pause.
Let me check in with them and see if that would benefit us at all, but I don't mean to cause any.
Okay.
concern. I think we're okay.
Yeah.
Everything has a 12-step process and each step has like we have 3 weeks to accomplish this step. Right. Then they send you back to the step you were before after 3 weeks. It's just.
But that doesn't interfere with kids getting into school.
No, that's true.
Oh, and permanent power, I don't know if Bill hit on that.
So yeah, permanent power, which we're in great shape, which is normally doesn't really happen, right? So what we have for National Grid is already got the meter set in the pole by us changing our secondary, because originally the primary was coming right to the building, so we kind of worked through the thing to make the secondary all the way up to Maple Street. So primary from National Grid stops at Maple Street, and from there it's underground to our building. So right now,
Get away from trees.
huh?
Where there might be.
Next to the big, it's right next to it. So, the wire's on order. We expect that another week or so. I'm thinking that we're gonna have power on our side by mid-October, which is great. Right? And then we control that. So now we still need the gear and everything for the building, but we'll have power to, you know, on our side, right? So it's all secondary from there. Then we control, once the gear comes, what we can liven up. Not waiting for grid, not waiting for us to all this kind of stuff. So it's.
And Pam, Beth, to your point about, just overall utilities that are needed for the school to open up. I know Verizon, I think you're in good shape too with the telephone lines and all of that. Technically we have gas into the, Eversource involved. So all those things are going well. The PV is just kind of the outlier, but we'll check in and let you guys know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's scary to see the word design, right? Because we're in construction, but there are some design issues still remaining that we're working through. on an FF&E. This is one of about 40 pages that were reviewed last week with a subcommittee that's looking at furniture finishes, and we're reviewing the final selections on colors. And it was kind of a complicated process because this is just the furniture. So the furniture sits within the building, and the building has all these other finishes. So I brought a couple slides just to kind of help remind you of that. And we can flip through more of the furniture, but this is showing you just an example of one single room and the content of that room. And it's a little hard to follow. You got to use your little imagination. But basically the goal here is that the student desks throughout the school will all be a wood laminate, a laminate top that is maple in look. And then the legs generally you have a gray, and we have a couple different shades of gray going on throughout the school. The chairs also have a gray look. And part of why there's a uniformity to that is so that they can move throughout the school and you won't have a clash. So this is a very neutral palette because it's within a palette in which each wing has an accent. So that's kind of why that's intentionally done that way. The teacher chair is consistently the same throughout the school. Then some things are unique and they vary a little bit based on, again, each manufacturer is different. So this is just giving you just a little bit of a glimmer of some of the materials, and we have specific swatches for all of this. And you can actually all, if you ever want, visit us at JWO to see specific finish materials. But this is all based on if we're in Boston and making sections. So we did go through all of each room throughout the school and review that with that subcommittee in order to be able to okay Stephora going forward and putting the procurement documents together, which are really important because their next step is to meet with Pam to prepare those procurement documents so that they can go out to bid. And what we were talking about today is being sure that when they're ready for your review, we're also simultaneously having Skanska and Fontaine review them, because we want to be sure in that process of procurement, we're also talking about all the things associated with the move-in and when furniture is touched and how it's being brought in and all those things. So those documents have to be very complete in that regard as well. And then that'll move forward. So the committee had no problems in general with any of this. There were a couple of things that were, addressed, I think. But if you go to the next slide, just to talk about the one thing that came up was that remember, this is almost 200,000 square feet, right? So it's a big building and it can seem like a lot of color to see so many different things. This is just showing you some of the paint and carpet and some of the tiles, but just to help you understand a little bit that there's a sort of the impact of accents and colors in different areas of the building. So this is the first floor, and a reminder that the district offices, admin, and guidance are all a kind of calmer blue grays. You have the gym, which you can't really see the colors there, but that's where all the pop of true Spartan red and gray are, similar as the pool. You have a more of a slightly more warm reddish tone in the auditorium and that seating fabric and the carpet. And that's a darker space because of our theatrical experience with a lot of wood in it. And then you move from there into the academic wings, and you have the 4 wings, each with their different color. And the idea is that the left wing, the west wing, is green at the bottom, and the floor above it is blue, and they have the open stairwell that connects them. It's a light blue. Second page, and the right has a red accent with a kind of a yellow on the gold floor above, so that when you see those two, they kind of collaborate well. The middle is a lot of red in the cafeteria, and we did go through that and the seating on that. And the LGI, gray carpet with red chairs. And we're trying to keep those red because the LGI chairs are likely to wander into the cafeteria and back again. So we have loose chairs in both of those spaces. We have a chair storage room. So we wanted to do that. And there was one question we're going to render out. So a different look cafeteria may be a mixture of chairs. So maybe they're loose red chairs, and then the built-in that are part of the tables might be black. There's typically not a gray. So people were interested in seeing a variation on that just to get a look of how that's going to feel. I'm bringing all this up at greater detail than normal because Frank I had done a presentation to faculty, and there was a little concern. If you go to the next slide, on the next floor, the yellow, and we did a fly through that showed, and that one really kind of popped out as maybe was that too much yellow. And it was largely, I think, because there's a reaction to the fact that there's a lot of yellow block in the school that people are tired of. So I think there's a little bit of a hangover effect of that and concern about that yellow. Now the tile, this has already been shared before, so we felt fine about our floor choices and commitments to tile, and this is a moving process, so those are committed to. But we don't want to go forward to the paint process without being sure that everybody's comfortable with it. So we're bringing that forward as an idea, just as a discussion point. So again, as you can see, the left over the green, you have that light blue, and there is some connection between the two, so you're not just going to see that. We have some of the soft furniture in the teacher planning room. In some rooms kind of plays on that cooler quality, some on the warmer quality. So there's some differentiation. You have some unique rooms, like you have that bright blue or sort of bluish floor in the middle of the E-wing. Second floor is the STEM room, which is a unique classroom. So there's some very specific areas that for material reasons have their own thing. The media center has largely neutral coloring because the furniture carries more color there because we have more soft furniture. So it's got a lot of kind of rusts and it's got a nice mix of things. Yeah, from sort of, yellows to rusts to oranges and to kind of blend in with that nicely. So if you go to the next slide, after that meeting, we went ahead and rendered this because this we felt might help. And this is showing a typical classroom with your typical furniture in it and your typical approach to the accent. So the accent isn't on every wall, it's only on the outside wall. And the tile is on the entry that you pass through. So if you're in the hallway, you're seeing largely that protected neutral tile that's protecting the wall. You have gyp that's a whitish, off-white above. You have a wood door that's maple. You have maple in the classroom. You have casework that you can't see because it's behind the wall in there. So you have a lot of maple. You have a fairly neutral linoleum floor. And then the accent that brings the color into the room is that outside wall. And we put that there because the light is bouncing off the other walls and you want to use as much daylighting as possible. All that doesn't matter for daylighting is the outside wall. So this is kind of just to give you a sense that if you're a student and you're moving around, you're going to see all of these throughout the day. You're not going to be hopefully stuck in one hallway, but as a teacher, you're teaching in one of these rooms.
Our hallways always were color coded. It's like, like I know in the school I'm in, it's all the same color and it does get a little monotonous. So really, I would have thought if you threw pink up there, people would be upset, kind of a thing. But
you do run out of colors eventually.
I, for myself, I don't find it, there's one color on that palette I wouldn't have picked, but I think that it's a variety and, I think calming colors for the special ed situations and things like that are the best. But
I think they are calming too. I think they're calming colors. Right.
Natural rather than primary.
I just painted my front and side door that yellow and my mailbox, so I'm a fan of I think it's cheery, bright.
Exactly. So was what wing's that going to be? What classrooms are going to be in there?
So again, that's east wing, second floor, and the school is largely more interdisciplinary. So you have 2 science labs in there, and you have a mix of classrooms. You do have business one we zoomed into. Walk through happens to, actually that's first floor. That's the floor right below. So it's a mix of classrooms. And then again, the rooms internal to those wings we were going to do all of the walls in the color, but I've changed that to just an accent because I felt like it was going to be too much.
Yeah. And that's what I thought you guys were really going to do. And I don't just like it. And it is paint. So it's not like so the tiles on the outside of the room with the color.
Yeah. And they're nice. They're really interesting. They're vertical, narrow, matte. They're not sort of pedestrian at all. They're very nice. I wouldn't worry about that. The bathrooms have a much more kind of mixed color that gloss that can clean real well. And they're not very strongly colored.
So Dory, we already have the tile, so if you're going to change the color of the room,
You'd be limited because you have to be sure it's compatible.
and was this the entire staff that was concerned or the subcommittee of folks in the design?
I got a few different comments from people about the yellow color. I'll just say I'm not a huge fan of the mustard.
Okay, you're more of a.
Sure.
Colonel Mustard.
Yeah. So, but I also said this to Dory and everybody else, I am just one voice and I'm not gonna dictate things, but at least did wanna,
What's the color you would switch it to?
Well, I think the only options are to go more neutral, like you would go to I hate to say beige. A gray
I like
would be an option, but then it will feel really out of character with the others. So you could go to duplicating the red, but changing the tone of it. But I worry a little more about that is the darkest of them, and I'm kind of not eager to do that. One thing I thought it might help is that I carefully walked the video walkthrough again to see, and I do think that at the end of the corridor, we have the stair that connects. And I think that light, if we could paint all of that white so that the sense of like yellow isn't overwhelming in there. And then you're really just experiencing it more as an occasional thing. I don't think it would feel as heavy. And August was with me today and I was thinking that might actually take a little bit of that out. If
You have a brighter spot then at the stair. and
lighter spot there.
like I said, I'm just one voice. So if other people are good with it,
Can you just tone down the, like
you
have the tile on the outside and just make it like a
That's fine.
shade different?
You see the PTD and the P3D colors there. So in order to keep it from being overwhelming, we do have two colors that are occasionally coming in, and predominantly it's the P3D, the lighter one. We could just, I mean, if you're finding one is more objectionable than the other, we could kind of shift the whole palette to slightly lighter.
which of the two would be on the classroom wall?
Well, currently in that plan, it's gonna be the PTD, the darker one, and then the interior spaces, we're gonna have the lighter. That's neutral.
Are you gonna change it
I
to
can
the
change that.
P3D? Do you like the P3D better?
I like the lighter of the, if I was choosing one of the two, lighter one, dominant. In those spaces,
You did that and then just say that you were talking about what might be better? Okay.
And that's, oh, you mean that, yeah, the
Stairwell.
yeah.
It's sort of a trapezoidal, kind of at the end of the wing. You can see that's
Okay, yeah.
color now, but that would be.
Yeah, and I would honestly advocate for the lighter of the two and all the hallways to be the more predominant of them, if that's something we could possibly do. Just if you're doing it in one, you should probably try to be consistent, right?
Oh, for all the colors?
I'm probably, if I'm being a pain in the ass, I'm throwing it there.
I'm actually I've been generally eliminating seconds along the way. So I'm of the same, like we could just go with the P3D, the P3F and eliminate. And from a maintenance standpoint, I think that's actually easier.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would agree.
So I have no problem doing that. So that's fine. I think if you go a floor ahead, just think, or the back one floor, back.
Oh, sorry. There.
So you do the same here where you can't see the lettering, but.
Yeah.
So everything
B and then.
thing becomes P3.
C, like kind of focusing more on the.
Yeah, I might have to play with the greens a little bit.
And that other red, that red is a pink more, I would say, and that P, it's like a pea green, play with it.
Yeah.
A story on it a little bit.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying eliminate it completely, but.
More consistently.
Yeah, and I prefer lighter colors versus darker colors when we're talking about interior colors,
I think that's safe. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think what's on the outside of your house, Greg, is gonna look different than if it was on the inside walls,
Yes, agreed. Yep.
Go forward. Now we have some fun stuff. I'd like to bring you guys these fun issues. Here's a question we've had for a little while and we now need to answer. Wow. It's a logo attached to them. It's, on the side of the bleachers, vinyl. Or there's a wrapper essentially that keeps kids from getting stuck in the bleachers. So lovely, it comes with a logo if we want to put it on. The scoreboard needs some definition. This is what they send to you and say, is this what you want? So we haven't gone to the level of answering these questions yet. for a couple of reasons. Part is we're trying to get enough of the different materials in front of us to make some decisions. But also when it came to the logo, we actually we had reviewed the court logo. So that's what was discussed, was this EL in the middle of the court and Spartans, but we kind of had expected we might be putting the Spartan logo around more. And then there are places, so we need to reproduce this in a vector graphic that can be scaled. And this is what was originally given to us from the school as the current logo. And before you stick with it for 30 years, we wanted to give you a choice as to whether you would like us to simplify it or tighten it up, or if you want to have some graphic designer go and do something.
The exit, do we have to have the logo?
No, you don't have to at all. I mean, it's.
What's your thought? You had something?
So we strategically really liked the EL at Center Court because it really unifies the town and it's a unifying logo, and the rec department uses the space a lot too, so it really helps with that. So that's why we really like the EL at Center Court. I love as many ELs everywhere as possible.
Oh.
I really feel like it's unifying with the town. But again, like Frank said, I don't want to be the only decision maker on that, but that's been my approach.
Kevin, to that point though, would you go with home and guest versus Spartan and guest on the scoreboard?
Yeah.
You could go with home of the Spartan like you have it, and then you guessed if you wanted to.
Right.
Mhm.
So I'm saying,
Yeah,
and
I would
take the
agree.
2 pictures off. I don't know the double picture.
And I would also
It's from the vendor. They're like,
Great.
must want this.
I piggyback on what Kevin is saying. Just don't have the Spartan head throughout the school now.
Uh-huh.
We have Spartans throughout the school now. It's like the words, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know if we necessarily need the emblem, like it's always on our jerseys, it's on our gear. We put it there a lot.
Yeah.
It's on like letterhead, but when you're talking about like the physical spots in the school, I mean,
Great. Well, because, like the entry, we don't have, we have Spartans. you know.
where do we,
So there's it's largely when you get into this, this
The athletic area.
equipment, that the vendors are.
For sure.
pushing it?
And they kind of say, here's, put your logo here. And we're like, oh, we better check in.
I'm just thinking like outside of the ones that are painted in the gym, I don't know if
Yeah.
we have them anywhere.
No.
No, I don't.
And I think it's a new day, it's
Okay.
very antiquated.
So on the side of the bleachers, for instance, EL would be better then if we, and we don't have to put anything there, but.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Kind of like the EL. Do you guys like the EL for the side of the bleachers? So that we have a defined.
I think it's easier so we're not, I think it allows us flexibility.
Yeah. Put the EL on it. I think that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, for the scoreboard itself.
On that same topic,
Yeah.
Kevin or I can also give you the EL varsity letters, which is if you wanted to look at something similar to that, that might be a good fit.
But could we consider a modernization of those even?
Yeah, we could. I mean, they're like fabric.
Now is the time. No, I mean, for the,
Yeah.
maybe it's a time to update that though. I'm just saying, so maybe this is, I don't know.
Same, that shirt.
Okay.
No, I said it's on our gear. We have it on our gear, on our letterhead. When you go to the physical.
On jersey.
It's not there. Yeah.
It's not there. So I don't know if we have to like now force it into the new
No.
building.
You do not?
And then,
I mean, I got 1,000 shirts like this.
so for the, back to the scoreboard, the home guest period, home of the Spartans, and take the other art off, or do we put EL up there?
I mean, we're duplicating the word home twice. That's the only thing that catches me with that. So we could do EL Spartans or the Spartans. I don't know.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
That scoreboard that I see there, I like home of the Spartans at the top. For the actual scoreboard, I like home and guest instead of Spartans and guest. And I don't like the logos on it.
And nothing, so no logos at all, or would you switch them to the EL?
On that, I like home of the Spartans as the logo.
Message.
Yeah, the message.
Great.
At least they got you winning, Kevin. So that's.
I score game.
Yeah, that's like.
Go to the next.
This is Sparta.
Here's, now, if you thought that was fun, Next is that the fact that we're talking about signage is a really good sign, because that means we're really far into the project. But one of the things that takes a long time is finalizing exactly what's going on the building plaque. And I realized as I was thinking about this, are there 2 building plaques? So this is in our drawings for the high school as a but we always need to stop at a certain point and be absolutely sure you've got everybody acknowledged and you've got the spelling right. So someone needs to provide this to us. So materially, what we have, and this can change, but this is a sizable sign that is on, you have a etched stainless steel plaque on a polycarbonate panel with standoffs connecting it to the wall, sort of like raised. The font can change, the content can change. We have learned that it's very important to be sure that, we acknowledge the MSBA and the treasurer. We will be sure that's there. Sometimes you're putting the team that helped you get here, and they're acknowledged. So
Where do you acknowledge the MSBA?
Well, this would be at the bottom in front with the
Small font.
All the checks cleared.
and prompt the conversation.
Just so long as his name's under superintendent. Because it's that dicey thing and it's his name that's on it, because that's
Or you could just put the logo.
16 years of your existence.
Yeah, Spartan logo.
The one.
Oh, it's
One place.
okay.
Yeah, just the one
Logo?
Spartan logo. The only place the logo's on is on the.
So, how do you as a committee want to make this decision? Like, not everybody has a city council, or that says city council, but it's just the select board. That can vary. Usually it's the building committee for sure.
Yeah.
And the theme is mentioned.
Should we look at
and
other,
that.
like what's Birchland's plaque look like?
What does
I can answer that.
Okay, Kathy.
To the best of my recollection, it definitely has the building committee on it. It had the principal's name, the superintendent's name. It did not have, at that time, it was still the Board of Selectmen. I don't believe it had that reference to the selectmen, but it acknowledged the general contractor. I'm missing a couple of things. At that point in 1999, when we had to make that decision, there was no MSBA. It was Department of Education. They didn't transition to that MSBA, I think, in maybe 2003. But there was certainly a reference to that, and at least it's quick enough for somebody to snap a picture of it and send it to this committee to look over. What we also did, since we were in the same situation the high school is in, is what I'll refer to as the original Birchland was built in 1959, I think. We took that old plaque, it was removed before the demo, and put it in the side lobby so that there was an acknowledgement of the fact that the new Birchland in 2000 wasn't the first of its existence, if you know what I mean. And so that's an option. But certainly that's up to, I don't know if it's up to Frank or it should be up to the committee, but those are my 2 cents worth.
I think the
Thanks, Kathy.
is to replicate what Birchland had and use that as our template. So we're not, upsetting people if they're included or excluded, you can just say, hey, we're just kind of rinse and repeating of a process that was outlined by a school in the past.
Sure.
And there is a plaque up front for this building.
Yeah. So
That is a good idea, making sure we save that.
In addition.
yeah, well,
What happened eventually.
And as Ryan said, there are plaques for the additions too.
yeah.
Like the main one. I would just say the main one.
The main one's probably the one they.
Yeah, because those are smaller anyway.
Yeah. Okay. We'll salvage those
75.
and find a home.
5x7.
And we will, if somebody can send me the first one just as a photo, if time comes.
Yeah.
And then what we'll do, the more names, the smaller the font. So, it sounds like a good idea to keep it focused on the committee. and we'll mock it up, but who should we direct it to? Gordon, can I direct it to you to verify everything on that?
Sure.
Okay, because we just need a partner to own that
Now,
responsibility.
is this gonna be like a glass over, like, it looks like?
So it's behind the opposite. You have the stainless etched is on top of a heavy piece that, so it sits out. So it looks like it's raised.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And that could change if you have if you want a more traditional type of plaque. It's not hard for us to shift it to a different material really, but
Now,
I can send you some photos of this.
I'll just plug, this sounds like a small detail, but these take a while to make.
Yeah.
Like sometimes up to 3 months. So,
So you wonder what the hardest part of the job? It's right here.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm bringing it up.
I've ordered stunt plaques on 3 different projects because the bill plaque wasn't
Yeah.
there on time.
Yeah, and since this is
Sooner the better.
sometimes there's like an emblem, like a tree or something behind it, but I think the Spartan we talked about, so we will we'll already talked about. Okay, and then next, go ahead.
Doctor.
So I was fortunate to get a tour, as did Eric, of some of the available redstone, and it's important. Eric is on the phone as well, so I want to come back to that issue. We talked briefly about getting that into the pool area. I was excited. It turns out that the drawings call for how many, Eric? Is it 60 to 70?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. I can't remember exactly the number, but
They
quite a
are
few.
in detention basins and they're part of the site consistently. So I was only looking for one stone. He was looking for a lot, but he also toured and felt like, I think he can get as much, we felt it was important to get as much as we could from here. I think that's the direct kind of ongoing. The signage, or for what we have talked about, and I have to say, I've kind of thought about this a lot. Go to the next one. And this is, I know it doesn't look like I've thought about it because it's a really bad little sketch here. I was away on vacation last week, but we did find enough stones that I do think that the bench idea is a good one. So looking at the various options, our thinking is that we replace the location of the bench, and it would be a 6 foot long, longer than 6 foot long stone, thick, deep, placed on a base. We could even put in that base some time capsule content if you're interested in that idea. That's something schools do. Something in the Times recently had said nobody's ever very excited when they open the capsules. The idea is that we create that location, and then I was thinking that would be a way where we could put the date in Roman numerals as a way of remembering the date of this event. Or we could just have a raw stone and have it be more raw feeling. So your call on that. But we've kind of talked through the possibility of this, and this does seem like a better direction than something that's vertical or kind of a tripping hazard on the other location, because this is a pocket, it's off the wall. So it's
In that atrium though, inside.
in that atrium. Yeah. So that's one inch.
So here's the picture to the left,
Does it
tucked in.
tucked in as a bench?
Yep.
You can sit on the bench. It would be sealed. It's as vulnerable as wood would be. So there's the vulnerability issue that we talked about, but I think it's still a good, and we can have that. We haven't priced this out. So this is something we want to kind of get on now in order to get it in. And because we also need to know changing the weight at that location before they pour the slab so we can get prepped for that. So generally, I just wanted to come back because I knew we left here with mixed feelings, but my recommendation is that we go with the bench approach and then start acquiring that. And O'Brien's, I think it was, there were some nice pieces up there that I'm thinking about trying to.
Oh, is that where they are? At O'Brien's house?
That's where I saw some things, but we can go around, but
So you'd use one of those, then you're,
that was our hope.
yeah,
And I think there's plenty of big,
because it's appropriate to get it from East Long Meadow. We're in agreement on that, okay.
bright one.
Well, I mean, you get it.
Would you be able to, were they just kind enough to give us the one piece, or were they like?
Well, there's a
what-
bunch of else in the town have that.
Like in that whole thing where the bridges, would they be utilizing it there at all?
That's where we will put some.
Okay.
We're not gonna necessarily go to that one source. I think the hope was the town has a bunch as well.
Okay.
And they were pulling it out and making it available. So I'm gonna leave that to Eric and Bruce to keep working through. And again, the contractor has also identified a source, but we would really like to do as much as we can from here. That seems.
And Dory, if I may jump in on that, I think we would actually rather reduce the number of proposed boulders on the site to avoid having to use an out of town source. So I think the plan right now is I'm going to be making another site visit on, I think it's October 1st, and we're probably going to try to go over to the transfer station to see what Bruce has pulled out and tag from what he has, at least for this first round, that Fontaine Brothers needs. So.
Will you describe the bench itself so people can make the leap that's Redstone?
You mean, will there be, we can, certainly, you mean, yes, certainly.
We're talking about Redstone on this wall, and then over there's a bench.
There's a sign.
You just don't know, that's Redstone, yeah, okay.
That's fine.
Where they make the leap.
Where it came from, yeah, like a literal leap, but yeah.
Hey, there's a Redstone. I wonder if that's what they're talking about.
Redstone that way, right? Yeah.
You're in.
Yeah, yes, exactly. A little bit of the history, yes, if we could, yeah, that'd be great.
We can keep that picture of Bruce.
Yeah, we're gonna need that.
Put that up on the wall.
It should be on the plaque.
Yeah. Just make that.
That's etched in the background.
I was wondering with the plaque, do the back, although then you're talking stone and stone is heavy, something that had a redstone feel to the back. And then with whatever you,
I know.
you know what I mean? I don't know if they make it similar.
Is that where you're going with one or two plaques? You were going there.
The two plexes, I realize that we have a pool.
So that's what I'm wondering, if the second one could be that, the pool one could be that.
I keep them, you want to keep them consistent?
Oh, I guess we keep it.
You want to keep?
Yes, of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Right, so,
Yep.
or at least relates to it.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that idea more than the plexi.
Cool.
Because then you could put
Yeah.
the plaque over the bench
Sure.
if there's not a window.
Right. Okay, great. Okay, before we leave signage, the one other thing I just want to let you know about is that we were, it's okay, it's no image for this one, but just that we realized that the records board at the pool is full. Congratulations, swimming team. Because we were talking about moving that over to the new location and then realizing that they're not in great shape and that it would be better if we have fabricated new ones. And that has been the discussion, and I think that we should pursue that, and I just want to let everybody know
That's the plan.
Ones that can be changed, obviously.
Yeah, so now that's a different element, because we weren't really, that wasn't our design, but we have to work on that, but we will get on that right away so that we can get that planned for.
So it's gonna be.
Kevin, you were in favor of that, right? Yeah.
I might call you, Kevin, just to kind of check in on how those are added and what's this mechanism and share that with you, but I think that's a good direction.
A totally new design, Dory. We're talking different scoreboard looking.
Different.
Because right now you hang the things, right? It's hang them up,
Yeah,
but we're not gonna do that anymore.
right. And I have to figure out a better mechanism that's still changeable and addable and looks good and is good in that environment.
Okay, but all the records would transfer, obviously.
Yes,
The new.
and I assume the ones the way they are, they can be. I mean, you know this board better than I do.
Well, are you doing a whole new board though, Dory? That's what I'm asking you. You're taking pieces of this board?
No, new board.
None of
All
it.
new.
Okay, great.
But the records on the existing board, are they portable on? Can I transfer them as parts onto the new board, or do we have to recreate all the records?
I think you want to recreate it.
Okay, that's what I want.
They're just hand painted and they're all different based on the year they were painted.
Based on who painted.
And they got the record.
Yeah.
Some of them could be 30 years ago painted, some could be 5 years ago.
There's definitely no statute of limitations here that we want to engage. We want to reproduce all the records.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Checking.
It would be sensitive to those people, yeah.
You're gonna take that original one and put it anywhere? Like, or is it?
We could mail those to the people, I think.
Time capsule.
Like, that's a great idea.
Was, but I never made.
Oh, you didn't make.
Remember those?
Sorry.
Mailing them, you're in charge of tracking them all down.
Put them in storage.
Just not as.
It's pretty, they're available. to pick up.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Good idea.
Go new, right?
Okay, great. And then last, this was just we were touching base on it and we ran out of time a little bit.
Yeah, do you want me to just kind of
Yeah.
chime in just where it came from? So we had our first Friday night football game last week, since the parking lot's been redesigned. And it was good to know, I saw it in Eric's email, that we actually are replicating the same number of handicap spots that we had previously. But I will say we ran out of handicap parking on Friday night.
Ran out of parking.
We ran out of parking. Well, we didn't run out of parking because if you count that front lot, you could go all the way to that.
They were on the grass.
So, but there's people who are trying to stay close to the stadium. They didn't want to walk. But there's also people who were older and had difficulty
Yeah,
walking. We
absolutely.
do have a handicap section. So the 4 spaces that we have close to the stadium, I don't know if they are going to accommodate when we have football games.
Oh, there's only 4?
There's only
Like 4.
Yeah, so one of the things I had reached out to Mark about, and then it became a bigger conversation with Dory and with Eric is, can we potentially look at increasing those number of spots? I don't know what the right number would be. I was honestly thinking if we could potentially double it, but I don't know if that's feasible. But if we could get, right now we're at 4, if we get that to 6, 7, I think that would be good. Just based on what we saw the other night, because we do have a lot of elderly in our community who like to go to our events, and we want to make sure that they have easy access to those, you know?
2 things to point out before Eric jumps in. One is that just for, you can't keep track of all the details. That stretch going down had the long stretch of parking right over Pam's head. That hasn't been built yet. And there are a couple spots in there as well. Obviously, they're not close to the same entry point. And what we were discussing is adding some around where you see those orange circles. Before Eric talks about the options here, I did want to say that one, point of concern about it's a question of how many you provide is also about how many you're taking away, and whether you also want to talk about, in the event of game nights, doing something temporary.
Yeah, and if I could just piggyback on that one too, it is my understanding that if we include that little side lot in the new front lot, we actually exceed the amount of parking spaces that we had in the original lot if we include those. So the campus itself has more spots when this project is completed than we had in the past. If you go to other schools, if I go to Minnetonka, if I go to Long Meadow, you have to park and walk. So I don't see taking a few handicap spots close to the stadium as an issue if we, as a campus, now have more spots than we had in the past. So just with that caveat, I think we should, if I am able-bodied, I can walk from that front lot to the football field and I'm fine. I did that on Friday night and I can do that for every year that I'm here.
And we have St. Mike's, which is an easy one too.
Yes,
Which is where a lot of us-
we can't tell people to park.
Well, yeah.
Frank, if you were to convert those to handicap spaces, would you risk not having enough student parking during the day?
No, we have more than ample student parking. Right now, it's about 2/3 filled.
Okay,
I would probably say it's honestly closer to half.
yeah.
So
I thought that there was like some, I don't know, rule about like the number of spots that you have and how many are supposed to be.
So there is, and I think Eric's gonna hit on that, but it's throughout the campus and it's in different spots.
I see.
I think just if we're looking at our athletic events, now we're at
density.
We should look to increase that area.
Eric, do you want to speak to your thoughts on this?
Sure, yeah. So the requirements that the state has and ADA has is based on the number of spaces you have in your parking facility. So I'm going to omit the Norden Street lot for a moment because that's sort of remote, but around the building you have 465 spaces. So 9 accessible spaces are required. So we are proposing as part of the project 10 immediately around the building, and they're dispersed to the different accessible entrances to the building. And then so we have an extra 8 surplus that we've located elsewhere. So you got the 3 at Norden, the 4 at the stadium right now, and then there's 1 next to the JV football field. So you far exceed the number of required accessible spaces on the site. But if you need more, there were a couple of initial thoughts. If you didn't want to reduce the number of spaces in the student lot, one option is to take those spaces kind of in the north row that already have an aisle, a striped aisle there, because there's a walkway that cuts through that landscape island, and basically make those 2 on either side of that striped aisle accessible. We just need to work with Fontaine to make sure that the grades work, from an accessibility standpoint. And then the other option we thought is you could continue to basically add accessible spaces to the west of the 4 that we, right next to them, the 4 that we already provided. The only issue there is that Fontaine would have to add curb cuts, redo curbing there to get the flush access points and the ramps and things like that necessary to, to provide an accessible route. Either of those locations can work though. I think with a more detailed view of it. So it's really just how many you want, how many you can live with modifying, losing from the student lot. I think can be achieved.
Eric, there are none outside of the east side of the pool at all, you're saying?
There are two for the community entrance to the pool.
Great.
Yep. There's 2 at the loading dock, 2 at the pool entrance, 4 in the staff lot at the front, 1 in the west lot that's sort of adjacent to like the district entrance, and then there's 1 further to the south near the daycare entrance. So again, the state requires that we distribute them around the different accessible entrances.
No, those seem to make sense. Which one would you prefer of your 2 options to add by the stadium? Would you suggest?
Oh boy, that's a good question. I think from a visibility and convenience perspective, they should be next to the ones that we're already proposing. Those are the clearest sight line. If you're somebody with accessibility needs and you enter that parking lot, you're going to see those before you're going to see the ones in the back. From a, trying not to undo work that's been done, the ones in the back would be easiest, but that's not necessarily the right decision. I mean, if there's surplus parking, I would extend the walkway personally and put them in that front row, but.
I mean, if we're picking up 2 in that front row where Eric is saying they're ideal, and then there's 2 additional ones behind it that might be less than ideal, I would honestly say go with both. If we can pick up 8 out there. With what I saw Friday, I think you could see those being taken. So what happened on Friday, and I don't know if these people were handicapped or not, but next to the handicap, there are those walkways, people parked in those.
Yeah, and then you can't do van access.
Exactly.
Sorry.
So
this is why we shouldn't tell.
That's why there's
police
strike
duty at these games, right?
Because we had details there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's what they should be addressing is ticketing and hauling those cars out of there because they should not be parking next to handicapped spots.
What I can't tell you is I can't tell you.
Those are there so you can get out of the car, right? Or the van. Yeah.
I can't tell you if those are
In the crosshair?
Either way, they're not allowed to be there. They should be yanked.
Yeah.
But Eric, should we put the 8 together or like Frank is saying the 6 and 2? What are your thoughts on that?
So first of all, I don't think you want to put them as you're coming into that entrance. I don't think you want to put them on the right, even though they're close.
No.
You do not want to make someone cross that driveway. That's dangerous. So I think the further that you put them to the west of the 4 that are there, the longer, I mean, it consolidates them, but it's sort of further. I think you could go either way. So, I mean, to me, typically it's a good idea to put them all together. But because of the distances, I think you could make the argument for, if you put 2 next to the 4 that are there and 2 in the back, I think you could make that argument. And it would save you a little of additional walkway,
What if we split the difference and go 7 in a row and call it just 1 spot instead of?
Yeah, I don't think anything that we add is good.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with whatever we do. I just based on what I saw, I just wanted to make.
Now's the time.
This pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense to make them in even numbers though, Greg, because because they can share an aisle. So it makes sense to
Yes.
So 2 back, adding 2 more to the front.
What's your take on this?
I think that you keep them together either way, you just keep them all together
Put the 8 in a row.
You were there on
Friday.
I was there on Friday. I got pitching people.
If those 8 in a row, you're coming out of that space and you're going directly up onto the sidewalk.
You have to go, well, we would have to work with Eric and take that whole curb, get the curb out, make that curb flush, and then create the sidewalk to kind of make that all accessible. we'd have to create that whole walkway in front of that.
And when we lose a spot because of the aisles or two total, so we're gonna lose a
Yes.
couple spots.
Yeah, you have to reconfigure the dimensions and we have to redo
You're
it.
talking like probably 3 spots though. It's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, four standard spots would become accessible. They'd be restricted. And then 2 spaces would become striped aisles effectively. And we could look at it too, because they don't all need to be 8-foot aisles there because you have way more van accessible parking than you need. So if there was a way we could work the numbers so that you could get like some 5-foot aisles in there, then maybe that would save you a little bit of, maybe it'd save you a space. I'd have to take a look at it.
So go with 8 in a row. That's the plan. Okay.
You have to look
I
at,
think so.
yeah, I think you have to look at the dimensions, Eric, and see how many you can fit in that area.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I Mark, that area, at least by design, is pretty flat.
Yeah.
So there's a catch basin over there, but I think that area is pretty flat. So
Right.
And if I can just ask one follow-up. So timeline on this, it's gonna take a little bit of time.
I need a design, I
Yeah.
gotta see what I have for curbing, I might not have curbing, I gotta cut it out, I gotta,
So-
you know, and then I gotta deal with it during the day type of thing.
We may
It'd be a few
order
games.
some temporary
Okay, we
signs.
Yeah.
appreciate you guys' signage to put there for
If you
now.
have temporary sign,
Tomorrow's the game, right?
yeah, and we asked DPW, they don't have any signage. So,
Oh,
Dark Rotary, because they used to have temporary handicap signs.
so we thought that was DPW, but they said no.
Yeah, it's been like
Dark
6 years.
Ag stencil it, guys.
So you think Rotary
Yeah, we-
has signage?
I believe so. Talked to like Adele. I think Bob keeps them at W.
Home Depot bucket.
That's
Right.
literally, yeah, if,
And something temporary, if you go on, you're gonna go and mark it, and it's not
what's that?
legal, it's not ADA, it's not, you're opening up a
Yeah.
sign for it, right?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
You wanna talk about the liability?
I wanna talk, that's all I heard, all I need to hear. We can
What's that,
talk
Kevin?
about temporary.
Oh, do it temporary is what he said.
No.
Yeah, don't paint them.
He's saying, no.
Don't pay, instead of paying them, you pay
Temporary sign, don't paint them.
temporary,
Yes.
just move them, just,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep. Okay.
You paint it, it's not actually
It's not that.
ADA spec, then it's
Yeah,
an issue, because now you're marking it handicap, but it's not.
Thanks for keeping an eye on my liability.
Great. Great.
Right.
Eric, I expect something by the morning?
you already have it in your inbox, Mark. Yeah, no, we'll get to it as quick as we can.
Okay. Any new
I
business?
appreciate that, thank you.
Sorry, Eric.
Of course.
Any new business from our remote people? Seeing none, any new business in the room?
I just wanted to mention, Mark and Danielle took us through for another tour of the building with LCAT, so that video should be coming up soon. Yeah, Jamie?
So a new one?
Yeah. Soon. Video of the. Thank you, Mark, for that.
I was gonna say, there's a point at which, before it gets cold, or at some point, it would be good to have the committee.
Do a walk. Yeah. When we should do that October?
Retreat.
Do we want to schedule with the group now?
Talking about during a shift or 3 o'clock meeting?
3 o'clock.
You wanna do it at 3 o'clock? 3 o'clock tour?
I don't think we want to do all of the trades are there.
So we'll have to have a tool belt or something to help you.
I'm down with that.
When's our next meeting supposed to be?
So we were gonna talk about that. Earlier I talked about us having a change order that's almost ready to go. We wanted to suggest the week of the 29th, if it was just a virtual meeting to approve, that change order. We'd need a quorum for it, but obviously up to
September 29th, you're done?
the week of, September 29th. So it doesn't need to be that Thursday necessarily, if you guys can do a different day. Our only update would be the approval of change order 3.
Well, what if we want to separate the two?
What if we walk? Oh, no, you don't want to do them all at once?
Which if everyone's gonna meet and go walk and then,
Yeah.
I suppose you could.
I think that's the best chance that we have in.
You're walking around.
As possible, but what we
I'm
can,
good.
what do you want to do? Steve? The chair,
Do them together, that's fine.
Talking about the second?
October 2nd,
October 2nd would be,
Thursday.
yeah, it is Yom Kippur, right? We wanted to know.
Oh, yeah, it's
That's, and we're open any day that week. It's really just to try to get the approval to keep
Wednesday.
Danielle happy.
Just gotta do it before sundown. Yom Kippur starts at sundown.
On the 1st?
On the first.
Second.
Well, 3 o'clock is before sundown, right?
Yeah, you'd.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Nice, yeah.
I cannot do the first, but I mean, I don't have to be the.
Don't you want to see it?
How about this 30th? 30th?
Do the 30th.
That works.
Sundown on October 2nd is 6:29 PM.
We were talking first.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, second is that.
Ends at sundown on the second.
Doesn't-
Can't roll a week,
Oh, well.
roll another week.
So,
Sixth, I'm wide open.
or not to, but yeah, I mean, if it's
Just separate them.
Yeah, just separate them out.
fine with that.
Do the vote on the second.
We can do like an online quick
The
vote on the
first one.
second, maybe.
Let's just do the vote as quick as we can.
Vote quickly on the second, find a different day to do the tour.
Not the second, though.
If we
Not the second.
month out, we're gonna have
Yom Kippur.
more finished framing up in May, and that's nice. I mean, I think for people to understand the space, it becomes more and more.
So end of October,
Yeah, I think further on is better.
Yeah.
November.
No, October, late
Okay.
October.
I just think it's best we pick because we have a lot of people here.
31st? Or a costume?
Halloween.
22nd, 23rd,
Yeah.
like that week.
What's the vote? Let's get the vote on the
The
books.
second is gonna be that.
Yes.
That's gonna be the vote's gonna be.
Well, the second's Yom Kippur,
You
right?
mentioned that, but then sundown's not until what, 6?
No, we're just talking about for the chain, for the
Oh,
order. That's
yeah,
just.
so let's start there. Is that an issue on the second? I mean, we do it out there, but then.
Yeah, just do a virtual in the
Be though, I don't want to assume. Are
Do
we gonna assume though, Steve?
Come again?
Do we assume that it doesn't affect anyone? The second?
Want to just do a virtual on the
For the
30th?
virtual on the,
Any day that week you guys choose is fine by us.
I'm not following you.
For the vote,
Just for the vote.
take it off.
Celebrate Yom Kippur. We now want to.
10 minutes.
I got
Keep
mine.
starting on the second.
It doesn't end until nightfall.
Right.
So it's still Yom Kippur at 3 o'clock on the 2nd.
Can people do
I'm sorry.
a virtual
I
meeting?
misspoke.
30th.
I was thinking of the first.
It's that Tuesday.
No saying.
I cannot.
On Thursday, oh, you couldn't do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
okay.
do it Tuesday.
How
about Wednesday?
Do the first, that first.
How about if someone is
First
affected
of-
by Yom Kippur, they just don't come?
First on, the first at 3 o'clock. Does that work?
That would work. It's not 6.
First to 3 o'clock?
Say that one more time.
October 1st.
October 1st, 3 o'clock.
Market time.
Just for 10 minutes.
Four
Vote, I won't
minutes.
be there, but.
We have your proxy though.
Are you gonna
Yep.
find out?
And then the tour.
Voting no, are you?
Want it.
What were we saying? End of
I'll do an
October,
absentee ballot for you.
23rd? We got
You already changed the yellow.
Retirement meeting.
Now it's
Right.
Sorry. it's the
30th? How about 30th?
And parking.
30th for,
October, the walk principle. October 30th?
Yeah, that works. Yep.
October 30th? Tour?
And should it be later than 3? Mark, what time? do you want to-
No, that's fine.
That's okay?
That's by,
All right, so
the time we gather and get together and suit up, just make sure
Cool.
we're dressed appropriately.
30th at 3?
No open, yeah, PPE, I'll give you PPE,
Yeah.
no open toe shoes, no shorts, no, tank tops,
Why'd you head on me?
At least it's picking on you.
You're right. I did say flip flops.
30th at 3, we just decided 3.
In the description, can you remind people that there needs to be appropriate dress?
Yes, whoever's.
Emails them might be.
all right.
All right.
So,
Oh, yeah, closed toes shoes.
Yeah, closed toe shoes and out.
Hey,
We talking.
you take a motion to
Yeah,
adjourn?
adjourn, yeah, I don't think it is. We adjourn. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to it.
Is there a second? We have a second.
Quimby. All's right in the world. Back.
All right.
All in favor?
All right.